The Houston Texans have found their coach. They have signed former Chicago Bears and Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach Lovie Smith to come on and be the new head coach for the Houston Texans. This coming after 1 year, the 1 year experiment, I should say, of David Culley that apparently didn't come to fruition. Although you could say that someone like David Culley was kind of set up for that. They didn't necessarily want him to succeed, if we're being honest. They were looking for a guy to be that stopgap guy, and that's what David Culley was. Now in comes Lovie Smith to a team that, say what you want about their talent, say what you want about the whole Deshaun Watson situation, say what you want about the fact that Deshaun Watson didn't want to play for this team and they lost J.J. Watt, they lost all these big free agents. This is a team that played well last year. Like, relative to their talent, relative to where they were, they played very well. And they have a guy in Lovie Smith who is coming in and immediately not only coming into a team that he knows well because he was, again, the assistant head coach, the associate head coach, one of those two, last year with this team. So he comes in, he knows this team. It's a little bit of that same regime, the same culture. But also he brings with him the plethora of just knowledge, experience, and everything that goes along with his head coaching experience before. Because let's not forget, Lovie Smith coached the Chicago Bears to a Super Bowl. Granted, it was in 2006, but he coached that team to the Super Bowl. And he is probably the most successful Chicago Bears head coach outside of, or in modern history at least, outside of like Mike Ditka. So Lovie Smith is a guy who, his resume kind of speaks for himself. He's had 2 NFC Championship game performances. He was fired from Chicago after a 10-6 season. He was fired in Tampa Bay in his second year as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach after a 6-10 season. But you also have to factor in the fact they had a rookie quarterback, and the year before they were 2-14. So that was actually a pretty good leap to win 4 more games and go from 2-14 to 6-10 and being competitive. They fired him. They gave up on him quickly. I understand that. And then, he was at Illinois. It didn't work. Okay? I can't defend his Illinois stuff. It didn't work. But do not discount Lovie Smith because of Illinois. Do not discount Lovie Smith because he's just another defensive guy, quote unquote. You actually should bet on someone like Lovie Smith if he's given the opportunity. Now, I know the optics, we're going to talk about the optics in just a second, but Lovie Smith is a guy who, bare minimum, can instill a culture in that team, in those players, so that they have that ability to get better. They have that drive to get better, and they have that overall, that intangible factor that gets thrown around. People love to talk about it. That's what Lovie Smith can genuinely provide for this football team. It's not necessarily going to mean, Lovie Smith's going to make your team a top 10 offense or a top 5 defense. No, he's going to be really good on defense. Like, they were pretty good on defense last year. I believe they had a really good interception or turnover ratio or interception ratio, whatever that is. They were top 5 in the league in intercepting their opponents as far as per attempt. So the Texans have something to build on, and a lot of that success even is due to Lovie Smith being there and having that experience as a defensive-minded guy. So Lovie Smith, I understand it might perplex people. It might get people to think that this all might just be a publicity hire or a publicity stunt by the Houston Texans. Obviously, you have the Brian Flores lawsuit that is happening right now. You have the fact that David Culley was fired after 1 year. David Culley was a black head coach. He was fired after 1 year, and then you get those people talking like, why was he even hired in the first place if you were just planning on firing him? And now maybe to combat that, you bring in a guy like Lovie Smith. I don't know. I hope that's not why they did that. I like to see the good in people, but I'm not going to be completely dismissive of that idea and think that that's not something an NFL team would do. That's totally something an NFL team would do. So, again, complex issue, right? But you also have to be willing to kind of see through the BS where there is BS. And that's not saying Lovie Smith isn't a good hire. He's someone who I've been saying should be a head coach for a while now. I just really hope, and this is my fear with the Houston Texans situation, this is a team that they're not going to get their quarterback this year. They don't have a first-round pick. they're going to end up trading Deshaun Watson away, yeah, but what are they going to get in exchange for him? He hasn't played in a year. The legal stuff, we don't know where that's going to land eventually. So there's a lot to be determined there, but there's I unfortunately, in my head, I'm thinking there's a chance that even Lovie Smith might be a one and done until they find the next guy who's actually going to be their guy. And that's unfortunate because I think Lovie Smith and this team have a chance to be something. They have a chance to be something special, and he has a chance to build a really good team and a really good mentality down there in Houston. So we'll see what happens, though. Obviously, there's going to be trades. There's going to be talk. But Lovie Smith, new head coach of the Houston Texans. Hey, everyone. We hope you liked this video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Until next time, keep it real.